For about 5 years straight, Team Fortress 2 was completely infested by cheating bots. Unmanned Steam accounts that would queue for casual 24 hours a day and cheat on the sniper class. And this made casual matchmaking barely playable. But in the last month or two, these bots have been completely gone from TF2. Valve finally fixed the problem. And as much as this is fantastic news, the bots inside of TF2 were just the tip of the iceberg. Because botting is not just a TF2 issue. It's a Steam issue. This entire platform is riddled with bots. From scam friends requests to the community market to your favorite free-to-play video games. And almost all of these bots have the exact same goal in mind. They exist to make money. Don't believe me? Then let me just show you. This is a game called Banana. Aptly named, if you ask me. It's essentially a really low-effort cookie clicker ripoff. You click the banana and the number goes up, and that's it. And whereas Cookie Clicker has like an entire video game to micromanage where you progress and stuff, Banana doesn't have any of that. This game is complete and utter slop, made in a few hours by one single developer. And yet, at the time of writing, this is the 4th most played game on the entirety of Steam, and it peaked at almost 900,000 concurrent players. This dumb idle game with no substance whatsoever has player numbers dwarfing many of your favorite games. It has more than double the player numbers of GTA 5, which is the 2nd best-selling video game ever made. So something is clearly not right here. If we take a look at the player numbers plotted on a graph, you might notice something strange. This graph is completely flat basically at all times. Now let's compare this to the graph of a different game. Let's say Dota 2, for example. See how in Dota's graph, there's like a constant cycles of players going on and offline every day. This is because people have to go to sleep and go to work and go to school. They have actual lives. But the graph on our favorite banana game doesn't show this behavior whatsoever, because unsurprisingly, the overwhelming majority of these players aren't human. They're bots. Almost 400,000 bots on average leaving this game open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You might also notice that there's enormous dips on the graph, where thousands, even tens of thousands of Steam accounts will all stop playing the game all at the same times and not come back for hours or even days at a time. And then, all at once, a little while later, they all simultaneously jump back online. This is a sign of what's called a botnet. Tens of thousands of bots that are all part of the same network run by the same people. These enormous spikes and dips are people turning on and off their botnets. Most of these spikes occur on Tuesday of every week. That's because Steam has maintenance once a week every Tuesday. Steam kicks all of its players offline, but all of the human players come back again within 5 or 10 minutes. But bots take hours, sometimes even days, to come back after this type of outage, which is what the majority of these spikes represent. Now you might be wondering, why would this game, of all things, be botted so heavily? What's so special about a game where you click a banana that demands hundreds of thousands of bots to play it at all hours of the day? Well, the developer of the funny banana game decided to add Steam community market support to the game. Whilst you have the game open, you can get random item drops from the game, similar to how item drops work in certain Valve games. These items are all just bananas with funny skins and animations on them. They don't do anything, they don't actually affect the game in any way, you can't even see them in game, but they do exist. You might be wondering why a developer would add community market support to a video game like this, but the answer is pretty obvious. It's for money. When an item is sold on the community market, a percentage of that sale is given to Steam and also to the developer of the game. And if your game gets botted to high heaven, then that little percent will be making this developer a very large amount of money. Maybe you're wondering why anyone would even want to buy a dumb picture of a banana on the Steam community market. Well, the reason people buy these, simply put, is for speculative gambling. You're buying it, hoping that someone slightly dumber than you buys it in the future for more than you bought it for. It's the exact same reason people in 2021 were buying funny pictures of monkeys as NFTs for millions of dollars. But at least with an NFT, once it's sold, you get real money in return. But selling a funny banana on the community market just puts that money into your Steam wallet. The people who make the bots can't even use the money that their bots earn in the real world. So why would people even bother doing this? Well, the sad part is that most of these botters are from incredibly poor countries with super high inflation. Places like Venezuela, where their economy is completely screwed, and their real jobs pay them basically nothing at all. If they want to buy a game on Steam, buying it with their actual paycheck is next to impossible. So botting the dumb banana game is a much better way of acquiring the money to buy a game than actually working for it is. The bots being created for Banana are known as idle bots. They sit idle in their respective games and they don't actually do anything. They just passively gain a bunch of these in-game items that can then be sold by the bot hoster. And idle botnets make up the overwhelming majority of bots on Steam. Remember this graph that I showed you from earlier, where it's completely flat because of the bots? Now let's take a look at TF2's graph. It's also mostly flat, with huge spikes and dips occurring every Tuesday. There's a slight cycle to this graph because there are at least some human players, but there are a ton of bots here too. This is a recent graph, so this doesn't include the cheating sniper bots, because they were banned from the game. But the idle bots never went anywhere. And in reality, they outnumbered the cheater bots by orders of magnitude anyway. Bot hosters will run the idle bots on text versions of the game, so that they don't have to render any of the graphics or anything. And this lets them have thousands of bots on basically garbage hardware. And all these bots do is sit in a hidden private server somewhere and go AFK. And a single bot hoster accrues millions of TF2 items every year. These items individually aren't worth much, but over thousands of bots and millions of collective hours, it adds up to sizable amounts of money. Selling cases is especially effective because they can be sold in bulk and are always desired by actual TF2 players, more so than the regular weapons are. Idle bots do exist in other games too. Lost Ark and Unturned both famously have idle bots. Any game that's free to play is inevitably going to be abused by botting. Whether it be idling for in-game items or bots leveling accounts to be sold off to other players, if the game is free, bots can make money from it. But idle bots aren't the only type of bot that exists. There's also trading bots. These ones are a whole lot less complained about, mostly because they're actually useful to the average player. But they too exist to make money. They will set up bots that create listings on public trading websites for basically every item in their respective game. And they buy items for slightly less than they sell them for. And that's it. And the people who use these trading bots know full well that they're slightly overpaying for their item. But if people want their items literally right now, then they don't really care. The price difference is often less than a penny, but over the course of hundreds of thousands of transactions, these tiny price differences make the bot hosters a ton of money. There's also Steam leveling bots that work in the exact same way. On Steam, you can level up your Steam account with trading cards and stuff. Leveling your Steam account gives you access to more friends list slots and more ways to customize your profile. You can trade items to these bots and they will give you trading cards in return to level your account with. These trading cards are either bought for super cheap or idled for with idle bots, and then sold to the user through even more bots so that they can level their Steam account. These bots are quite numerous, but nobody really complains about them because they're at least slightly useful to the average player. Now, there's also other bots that lurk on Steam. Bots that don't want to idle for items or trade with players. All they want to do is scam you. They set up these profiles that attempt to look vaguely real. They usually fail at looking real, but they sort of try to. They add random users to their friends lists, and anyone who accepts the request gets an automated slew of messages where the bot pretends to be a real person. Maybe they ask you to sign a petition, or join their competitive team, or maybe just pretend to be an old friend. And if you click the link, your Steam account gets compromised. What the scammers use your account for will vary, but for the most part, they target people who have lots of items in their inventory, so they can steal these items and then sell them off for profit. And sometimes, after they've scammed you, they'll use your account to go and try and scam other people on your friends list. If a random person adds you and sends you a link, you might not click it, but if an account you trust does the same thing, you're much more likely to fall for the scam. And amongst the other types of bots, there's also, of course, those cheater bots from TF2 that recently got banned. These bots existed for a long time, time, and they caused a massive amount of chaos. But these bots had one unique factor to them that none of these other bots really have. These cheater bots didn't exist to make money. Every other bot we've discussed is just trying to make a living for whoever runs the bot. But the cheater bots were created by a small group of lonely sociopaths whose only goal was to systematically ruin the fun of other people. There was no ulterior motive, there was no overarching goal, they just wanted to cause mayhem. They were just being scumbags for the love of the craft, and as far as I'm aware, this is the only type of bot like this. If there's any other examples from other games of bots like this, then please do let me know. But to my knowledge, the TF2 cheater bots were a unique breed, purely existing to make people angry on the internet. Although fortunately, at the time of writing, these bots have been gone for about 2 months now. The details of how Valve got rid of them is mostly unknown, because Valve is very tight-lipped around this sort of information. If they leak all the details, it gives bot manufacturers an easier time getting around the barrier that Valve put in place, making the solution a lot less effective. But for now, these bots are gone, and hopefully they stay gone, because Valve is very aware that their platform is overly botted. But just getting rid of these bots is a gargantuan task. In fact, in 2017, TF2 YouTuber Uncle Dane visited Valve's headquarters, and this is one of the things he had to say about it.
And told us about a specific instance very recently where he had to personally ban over 200,000 bot accounts. We were all very impressed by this before he told us that the troublemakers simply just made 200,000 more accounts a few days later. So it kind of puts into perspective how problematic the people who are completely willing to take advantage of the free economy that Team Fortress 2 offers, and how difficult it might be to implement a metal sync system that would prevent that kind of thing from happening.
Banning bots alone just isn't a solution. There also needs to be a way to keep them gone for good. You might think that just adding a captcha or something to Steam account creation would work, but captchas kinda suck really bad. They're designed to prevent bots from completing them, but bots can complete them. Like, the entire purpose of a captcha just doesn't work. And even if you had some magical captcha that was bot-proof, there are services that you can pay for that will literally pay humans to solve 1,000 captchas for like $1. So bot hosters can just pay $20 and get their entire botnet through captcha in minutes. And this is a Steam-wide issue, so Valve can only do so much anyway. If a non-Valve game gets botted, it's on that developer to do a lot of the heavy lifting too. So botting is a problem that will likely be here to stay for the time being, because Valve did ban those cheater bots. But even if they do stay banned for good, I don't have much confidence in Valve's ability to remove all types of bots from their platform. Because here's the sad part. Botting isn't just a TF2 issue, and it's also not just a Steam issue. Botting is an internet issue. The internet is becoming more and more infested by bots with every passing day. It feels like they already outnumber humans by now, and if they don't already, eventually they will. They are all over social media, and all over Twitch and YouTube, and they're all over Steam too. And although some types of bots might be useful to us, basically all of the rest of them are a bad thing. They're all trying to profit off of us, or make us angry, or to divide us politically. And Steam bots are just the tip of the iceberg, a sad extension of that reality. The reality that bots are here to stay. They're just a part of the internet now, and they likely always will be. The internet is dead, and bots killed it.